You must understand something very important right now. Worry is an enemy, a thief that creeps into your mind in the middle of the night and whispers lies about tomorrow. It is a destroyer of dreams, a blocker of blessings, a weight that holds back the wings of your spirit. And yet, most people invite it in like an old friend. Let me tell you this: the future is not something to fear. The future is something to build. You don't sit back and wait for it to bring you pain or pleasure. You shape it, you mold it, you command it, and you do that today, not tomorrow, not next year, today, this moment, this breath. But the average person spends 90% of their energy worrying about things that haven't happened yet, and most of them never will. Think about that. The greatest tragedies of life, for most people, never even happen, but the worry about them does. The stress, the panic, the anxiety, that's real, and that's what kills ambition. I'm not here to tell you that life won't test you. It will, it must. It's how life proves your worth, but the test is never tomorrow. The test is always now, and if you focus on the now, if you handle this moment with all the power and grace you possess, then the future will take care of itself. You see, worrying is a misuse of your imagination. That same mind that can dream of a business, a breakthrough, a new chapter, is the same mind that can trap you in a cage of fear. And the truth is this: if you're going to use your imagination, then use it to build. Use it to believe, use it to create, but never, ever use it to destroy yourself. The future is not a curse waiting to strike. The future is a blank page waiting for you to write on it, and the pen is in your hand. But too many people are frozen, paralyzed, because they've convinced themselves that they need to have all the answers before they take a single step. That's the trap. Life doesn't reward the ones who have all the answers. Life rewards the ones who move forward with courage despite the unknown. Think about every great inventor, every creator, every entrepreneur, every visionary that ever lived. None of them knew exactly how things would turn out. But they took steps, they experimented, they believed, and they made mistakes, but they didn't stop. That's the key. The moment you stop worrying and start working, you activate a force within you that begins to open doors, doors you didn't even know existed. You don't need a roadmap to destiny. You need faith, faith in your purpose, faith in your abilities, faith that there is something greater guiding your path if you stay aligned, if you stay focused, if you stay ready. And let me remind you, worry is not preparation. People confuse the two. Preparation is power. Worry is weakness. When you prepare, you train your mind, you develop your skills, you build your foundation. But when you worry, you trade your peace for pain, your clarity for confusion, and your vision for blindness. What has worry ever brought you? Has it paid your bills? Has it healed your body? Has it lifted you out of struggle? No, but action has, courage has, stillness has, and belief. Belief in yourself, belief in God, belief in the process. That's what carries you forward. Now, I know some of you are facing real situations. You're thinking you don't know what I'm going through. And you're right. I don't, but I do know this. No storm lasts forever. No night holds back the morning. The very fact that you are still here means you've already survived everything you once thought would break you. That's not luck. That's strength. So why worry about the future when you're already more powerful than your past? Some people say, but what if I fail? And I say, so what if you do? Failure is not the end, it's information. It's feedback. It's a step on the staircase. And if you keep climbing, keep adjusting, keep learning, then failure becomes your teacher, not your tombstone. Others say, but what if I lose everything? Let me ask you something deeper. What if losing everything is what reveals to you what truly matters? What if letting go of the things that no longer serve you is how you finally rise? What if the breakdown is the beginning of your breakthrough? You must stop living from fear and start living from purpose. Fear will always exaggerate the worst case scenario, but purpose will always pull you through. And when you're driven by something bigger than your fear, something sacred, something eternal, you will stop obsessing about what might go wrong and start walking toward what could go right. You were not created to live in worry. You were created to walk in wisdom. Wisdom says, do what you can today with what you have and trust that more will come as you grow. Wisdom says, don't borrow trouble from tomorrow. Deal with what's in front of you. Wisdom says, live fully in this moment, because this moment is all you truly own. And make no mistake, when you operate in peace, people will feel it. Opportunities will find you. Creativity will flow through you. But when you're consumed with anxiety, nothing flows. You become like a dam, holding back the rivers of blessing that were meant to pass through your life. So you must let go of the fear that says, I don't know what's coming, and embrace the truth that says, I will be ready no matter what comes. There is a reason your windshield is bigger than your rear, you mirror, because what lies ahead of you matters more than what lies behind you. And yet, the only way to move forward is to focus on now. Now is where your power lies. Now is where miracles begin. Now is the birthplace of your future. So breathe right now deeply and remember, you've made it through 100% of your hardest days. You are more equipped than you think, more capable than you believe, more favored than you know. There will be moments when the noise of fear gets loud. That's when you get quiet. That's when you speak to your soul. That's when you remind yourself who you are and why you started. That's when you trust that everything happening is either a lesson, a blessing, or both. And above all, that's when you refuse to worry about the future, because you know the future is not something to fear, but something to build, one brave day at a time. And if you ever catch yourself doubting your path, your strength, your calling, pause for a moment and reflect on all the moments you wanted to quit, but didn't, all the days you cried in silence, but got back up, all the times you questioned if you could take another step, but did anyway. That is not weakness, that is resilience. That is the spirit within you trying to show you that you were never ordinary, you were born for more. The reason most people worry about the future is because they feel disconnected from their power in the present. They forget that today is the seed of every tomorrow. What you speak, what you think, what you do now, that's what builds the bridge to the future you dream of. You don't need to chase the future. You need to build a present so powerful that the future unfolds naturally, inevitably, as a reflection of your current effort, faith, and intention. You don't plant a seed today and worry every day if the tree will grow. You water it, you nourish it, and you trust the process. You let the sunlight do its work. You let time pass. You trust that the laws of nature are in motion. So why, when it comes to your life, do you think the harvest won't come? The truth is, many people have been programmed to expect the worst. They walk through life bracing for impact, waiting for something to go wrong, and so they never enjoy the moment. They never feel free. They never truly live. But what if instead you trained yourself to expect miracles? What if, instead of saying, what if it all falls apart, you asked, what if it all comes together? What if, instead of living with fear, you started living with fire? This world does not reward hesitation. It rewards movement, progress, initiative, boldness. The ones who change their lives are not the ones who sat around worrying about what might happen. They're the ones who stepped forward, sometimes in uncertainty, often in discomfort, but always with determination. And let me be clear, having fear doesn't make you weak. It makes you human, but staying frozen in fear. That's a choice. And every time you choose to stand still when your soul is telling you to move, you shrink, not physically, but spiritually. You lose a piece of that vision that once burned inside you. So don't betray yourself. Don't betray your purpose. You were not put here to play small. You were not created to worry. You were made to walk in authority. Authority doesn't mean arrogance. It means alignment. It means walking like you already know the victory belongs to you, even when the scoreboard doesn't show it yet. It means showing up with your head held high, even when life is trying to make you kneel. It means speaking life when everything around you feels like death. That's the kind of power that shifts futures, not because of what you know about tomorrow, but because of what you believe about yourself today. You must understand that your mind is a garden. Every thought is a seed, and worry is a weed. It grows fast, it spreads wide, and if you don't uproot it, it will take over everything. But just like you can pull weeds, you can also plant truth. You can choose to say, I don't know exactly what's ahead, but I know I'm prepared. You can say, I've faced worse and come through better. You can say, I don't need to see the full staircase to take the first step. And the first step, always, is choosing not to live in fear. Fear will disguise itself in many ways. It'll show up as procrastination, as perfectionism, as the belief that you need to wait until everything is ready, but nothing is ever perfect, nothing is ever certain. And that's the point. The beauty of life is not in control, it's in courage. There will come a day when you look back on this moment and realize it was a turning point, not because everything changed overnight, but because you changed. You stopped letting your mind bully your dreams. You stopped letting imagined tomorrows ruin your real todays. You stopped living under the weight of what-ifs, and started living under the light of what could be. What could be if you gave your full energy to your mission? What could be if you trusted that every delay, every detour, was simply preparation? What could be if you stopped rehearsing tragedy and started expecting testimony? Because here's the truth that will never change. The people who go the furthest in life are not the ones who had the easiest path. They're the ones who stopped worrying about what might happen and focused entirely on what they could make happen. You are more powerful than you feel right now. You've got gifts inside you that haven't even been activated yet. You've got people waiting for you to show up. You've got doors that won't open until you step toward them. But none of it moves until you do, and that's why the greatest decision you can make today is not to solve every problem, not to figure out every answer, but simply to decide that you will no longer let worry have a seat at your table. That you will no longer hand your peace over to the unknown, that you will no longer wait for certainty before you choose boldness. You weren't born to be average, you weren't designed for doubt, you were crafted, specifically, intentionally, for a purpose. And if that purpose hasn't shown itself fully yet, it's not because it's absent. It's because you haven't stepped into the arena where it gets revealed, and worry will always try to keep you out of that arena. It will whisper, you're not ready, you don't have enough, what if they laugh, what if you fail, but the voice of truth is louder if you listen, and it says, you were made for this. You have everything you need for the next step. Even if you fall, you will rise stronger. And if you don't move forward, the world loses something only you could bring. So don't wait until the stars align. Don't wait until you feel confident. Don't wait until your bank account, your body, your schedule, your situation is perfect. That moment may never come, but you have this moment, and that's enough, always has been, because this moment, this now, is where all of your power lies, and most people never tap into that power because they've been conditioned to live everywhere except here. They live in the regrets of yesterday or the fears of tomorrow. But life does not exist in either of those places. Life happens in the now. Creation happens in the now. Healing happens in the now. And when you finally make the decision to be fully present, everything begins to change. You begin to see clearly. You begin to feel differently. You begin to realize how much you were missing while your mind was wandering. The smile of a loved one, the quiet beauty of your own breath, the ideas floating in your mind like sparks waiting for ignition. All of it lost if you're not here. So many are waiting for a sign, a guarantee, some external confirmation that it's going to work out. But that's not how greatness is born. Greatness is born in uncertainty. In the silence, in the space where nothing is promised except your commitment, and what you commit to fully will begin to bend the future toward your favor. You don't need certainty about how. You just need clarity about why. When your why is strong enough, fear weakens, worry fades. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And you start declaring, I'll make it work. You stop begging for answers, and you start becoming the answer. There is a power that rises in people who make a decision, not a wish, not a hope, a decision. A decision says, I'm no longer entertaining fear. I'm no longer allowing doubt to hijack my destiny. I'm no longer waiting for someone to give me permission to be great. And once you decide, life starts responding differently. Not immediately, but undeniably. The phone call comes, the door opens, the mentor appears, the idea sharpens, the strength arrives. Not because the worry is gone, but because you've stopped feeding it. You've chosen faith instead. Faith is not passive. Faith is not blind. Faith is aggressive belief. It is action in the absence of assurance. It is moving forward while your knees are shaking and your mind is questioning and the path is still foggy. But you move anyway because something in your soul knows. You don't need to see the whole picture. Just take the next step. One step, that's it. Then another, then another. Do that long enough and you'll look up one day and realize you're living inside a reality that once existed only in your imagination. And you'll wonder why you ever let worry convince you that it wasn't possible. Your future is not something that happens to you. It's something that responds to you, to your discipline, to your energy, to your attitude, and especially to your vision. Because if you can hold a vision in your mind and refuse to let it go, no matter how slow the progress, no matter how heavy the opposition, that vision must become real. It's the law. What you hold in your mind long enough with enough belief, repetition, and action must take form in the world around you. That is not fantasy, that is reality, but it only works if you remove the enemy called worry from your inner circle. Worry is the saboteur of all that is good. It will delay your dreams, deny your joy, and drain your drive, if you let it, but you can choose differently. You can choose to walk by vision, not by fear. You can choose to be calm in the face of the unknown. You can choose to believe that even when you can't see the path will reveal itself as you move. The way appears to the one who walks. That's the secret most never understand. That progress reveals direction. Action reveals clarity. You don't get the answers before the journey. You get them on the journey. You find out who you are by stepping into the situations that require you to become who you were meant to be. But if you stay stuck in worry, you never enter those situations. You never step onto the battlefield where your inner warrior is waiting to rise. You never see the strength in you because you never stretch far enough to awaken it. And the world loses out, not just you, because your life is not just about you. It's about the people connected to your courage, the people who are waiting for your song, your story, your solution, the people who will be set free because you chose not to live in fear. And that's why worry must go. It's not just killing your future, it's robbing others of theirs too. You were created to lead, to build, to inspire, but none of that flows through a heart trapped in anxiety. Greatness flows through peace. Power flows through focus. And the future bows to the one who walks with faith, not fear. Every time you rise above the noise in your head and take a step anyway, you strengthen that part of you that was born to win. Every time you silence the voice that says, "What if it doesn't work?" and replace it with, "What if this is the beginning of something beautiful?" you take back your power, and that power is not something you borrow. It's not something someone hands you. It's something you already have, buried under layers of hesitation, distraction, and fear, and the only way to bring it to the surface is to act, not later, not when the stars align. But now you don't need the whole world to believe in you. You just need you to believe in you. Most people don't fail because of lack of talent. They fail because they surrendered to worry before the real battle even began. They didn't lose the game. They forfeited it in their mind. Worry is a thief dressed as caution. It pretends to protect you when really it's just preventing you from growing, from loving, from risking, from truly living. But once you realize that fear is a liar and worry is a parasite, you begin to walk differently. You begin to speak differently. You begin to carry yourself like someone who understands the deeper truth. You are the creator of your reality. You want a better life, then become the kind of person who attracts it. Speak like it, move like it, show up like it, not when things change, but so that things change. Most people think they need a breakthrough to become bold, but it's the other way around. Boldness creates the breakthrough. You can't walk around like a victim and expect to live like a victor. You can't repeat the stories of fear and expect a future full of faith. You must choose which voice you will obey, the one that limits you or the one that lifts you, the one that drowns your potential in doubt or the one that calls you to rise, and the voice that lifts you is always present. Always whispering, it's the voice that says, keep going, don't stop, you were made for this, there's more in you, but you have to get still enough to hear it. You have to silence the noise of the world long enough to tune into your inner knowing. Because when you do, you'll begin to see how much time you've wasted worrying about things that never even happened, how much energy you've given to fears that never came true, how many days you've let slip by without stepping into your full self, because of a lie. A lie that said you're not ready, a lie that said you're not enough, a lie that said you can't, but you can, you always could, you just forgot, and today is the day you remember, not because something magical changed in your circumstances, but because you changed. You woke up to your own power. You realized that if you can breathe, you can build. If you can think, you can create. If you can feel, you can connect. And if you can walk, you can move forward. You don't need to see the mountain move. You just need to take the next step. Worry wants you frozen. It wants you overthinking, overanalyzing, overwhelmed. It wants you too distracted to act, too cautious to leap, too afraid to live. But that part of you that is powerful, that is purposeful, that is divine, that part wants movement. Even if it's small, even if it's slow, because small steps in the right direction are still steps toward destiny. Some of the greatest things in life don't begin with confidence. They begin with commitment. Commitment to keep going, commitment to hold the vision, commitment to believe in the unseen. And that commitment isn't rooted in certainty about outcomes. It's rooted in faith about who you are. So if you're tired of carrying the weight of worry, drop it. You don't need it. It's not making you better. It's not keeping you safe. It's only making you forget how free you truly are. You were never meant to walk through life with chains on your mind. You were meant to walk with clarity. With conviction, with courage. When your inner world is strong, your outer world responds. And the inner world grows strong when you stop letting fear be your compass. Let peace be your guide. Let purpose be your fuel. Let vision be your direction. Those are the things that build futures worth living for. Let me know if you'd like me to continue writing more. So I leave you with this. You have two choices each day. Fear or faith, worry or work, hesitation or movement. Choose the path that builds you. Choose the voice that strengthens you. Choose the future that begins today, because everything you want, everything you're praying for, dreaming of, and working toward, is not waiting for a perfect moment. It's waiting for you to stop doubting and decide to trust, decide to walk, decide to rise. Don't worry about the future, create it, command it, step into it with a heart full of belief and a mind focused on the mission. The world doesn't need another person paralyzed by fear. It needs you, fully awake, fully alive, and fully committed to becoming everything you were destined to be. The future is yours. Claim it.